Many of you who have been following this channel for a long time know that I am a spiritual guide of sorts, a tarot reader, an astrologer. But in a lifetime before that, I am actually in the health and wellness industry, specifically preventative healthcare. And I spent 5 years of work and 5 years before that studying at a health and wellness, we call it a biohacking laboratory in Santa Monica, California. I won't say the name, for a very well-known fitness and health and wellness influencer. During my time at that, not only did I get to be certified in a bunch of different really cool health and wellness technology, but I got to work one-on-one with many different clients, and I got to see why people were sick, why people were unhealthy, and what was going on that was causing these illnesses. Prior to me working at that facility for 5 years and helping a lot of people, I had had my own experiences. In 2012, I had a knee surgery, right knee surgery, and still to this day, I don't know exactly what happened, but it turns out I had some type of weird reaction to maybe the anesthesia, and my body, my mind, my entire existence was completely altered. I never really felt the same again. And what I realized was that I needed to take control of my own health at that time, because no doctor and no medical establishment, as great as their intentions may be sometimes, knew how to cure me and could only give me more medications and things of that nature to try and cover up what was going on with my body. And so fast forward to today, and it's been I like to say a second degree of mine in studying in depth the most life-changing, most effective general health hacks to living an optimized life and having the energy, having the immunity, having the mental clarity, and having the focus that you need to be clear with your life purpose and to go after it with everything that you have. And so I believe that is a strong part of my mission. That's what I'm here to share. And I strongly advise you, everything I'm about to tell you has been both researched as well as experienced personally through me. I'm going to rely on a mixture of both of those things to give you this advice. But there's nothing I say here that I don't personally do pretty much on a daily basis myself, or as needed. Okay. And really the entire goal of this is, the world is moving into a place where we are needing to have better reliance on our own immunity, our own natural systems, our own energy production in our cells and within our body. And I want to give people that trust back, right? A lot of people have lost trust in their own immunity systems, their own immune systems, which are completely magical, by the way, to the point where we thought we've needed to rely on outside things, okay, to boost that immunity in order to protect against different sicknesses and illnesses out there. And so I want to talk about this stuff to help people reclaim their health, reclaim their body, their mind, their soul, and to give that confidence back in their own systems by starting to implement certain habits and routines, or health hacks, I call them, to regain that confidence and to feel so much better, to feel like a new person. Let's go ahead and get right into the content. And first thing that I want to talk about, okay, is something that many of you guys may have heard about, and it's called intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting is a way of allowing the body to clear out, to detoxify, and to cleanse, basically, old waste material, old dead cells, and cells that with half or slow functioning mitochondria, or the part of the cell that creates energy. And so what happens is when you go through a bit of what I call an intermittent fast, which is about 16 to 18 hours per day, you give your body the signal or the stimulus to start clearing house and to start prioritizing or creating new cells with much stronger mitochondria and much stronger functionality and capability. And part of the problem and part of where illness and disease comes from is an excess of old, dead, or diseased or dying cells, right, that no longer know how to function correctly. They are no longer practicing something called apoptosis, which is natural cellular death. And so you need sometimes a stimulus in the body to wake up the body's ability to clear out those dead cells and to create new ones. And so by practicing this intermittent fasting, you are causing your body to create new, stronger, and more capable cells, which are going to give you more energy in a more efficient manner. You are causing your body to detoxify, waste material, old dead cellular material as well, and of course waste matter in the body, and also in a key way, the digestive system. Okay, so also if you're having slow or sluggish or just bad digestion, right? If you ever have IBS, if you ever have Crohn's disease or any type of autoimmunity, it's very high. There's a very high likelihood that that is tied as well to your digestion. One caveat I would say there is start with less. Okay, less is always better. So what I like to do is I like to put my intermittent fast between a 6 to 8 hour window, and I'll basically wake up in the morning and I'll have water, or I'll have some black coffee or black tea, or right, even green tea if you're not a big coffee fan. And I'll basically fast until about lunchtime, either 12 or 1 or sometimes 2, just depending on when my body naturally gets hungry. And my body will start to really get hungry at that time. Prior to that, for me in particular, I don't really get hungry until that time in the afternoon. And so I just allow myself to be and to do activity and to drink and to fast until about that time. And then I'll have my first meal. And the key thing here is to have your last meal as close to sunset. Maybe for some of us, I know it's 5, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., right? For me, I like to have it no later than 7 p.m. And so that gives me, if I eat at 1 o'clock, that gives me a 6-hour window. And if I stop eating after that, here's what happens. Because I've allowed myself to eat what I need and what I genuinely desire and want between that 6-hour window, I'm getting my nutrient allotment for the day, right? I'm giving my body what it needs, but then I'm giving it 18 hours to go through the fasting process to then fully digest that material, assimilate those nutrients, and detoxify as well. Start that detoxification process of unwanted waste material in the body as well. A caveat to this, as I mentioned, is you don't necessarily want to do this every single day all the time. This is where some people have gotten thrown off of intermittent fasting because they said, well, it starts to cause health detriments. It starts to cause things in my body I don't like maybe I get, my adrenaline, I feel overly stressed, or I feel overly anxious, or, I'm losing too much weight, or I feel weak. Right? You always want to listen and rely on your body's natural intelligence to share with you when it's best to eat, and share with you when you can get away with fasting. And the way you know if you can get away with fasting is if you wake up in the morning and you're just maybe not that hungry, or you're totally fine without eating, there's no need to eat, right? There's no need to force breakfast down. You can allow your body to tell you when it's ready to have nutrients, when it's ready to have food. And you don't have to force feed it when it's uncomfortable eating at that time. So the last thing I'll say about that, so before we move on, is 18 hours is a long time. And that number was generated from studies that show that 18 hours where the body really hits, right? It's like the minimum amount of time where the body really hits this stage of autophagy, which is the natural cellular death and the clearing out, as well as human growth hormone production or other hormonal reset processes in the body. So you're also getting renewed, right, or increased. You're basically resetting the system. So your body's going to go, okay, we need to turn these things back on again. But again, chronically doing that all the time is not natural either. And so I would say start with it 2 or 3 times a week, and either go up or go down from there, depending on your goals. You're also going to lose weight is another benefit. You're going to burn fat, and you're going to create metabolic flexibility. Okay. So that's number one. Let's move into the second one, which is one of my favorites, health hacks, which is taking 0.3 micrograms, okay, so 0.300 micrograms of melatonin before bed. Now, many people are familiar. They've heard of melatonin, and some people, no pun intended, they sleep on it, right? Because melatonin's extremely underrated in my opinion. It works as an antioxidant in the body. It works to quell inflammation as well. It's anti-inflammatory. It actually helps to prevent cell death, right? In the case of, right, you have a healthy system and you want to kind of keep your healthy cells alive when they're exposed to free radicals and toxins of that nature. It actually helps to prevent cell death. And what I use it for specifically is to make sure that I can get to sleep at a time where my body's going to get the deepest amount of sleep. And so for me, there's 2 modes that I operate in. Sometimes I like to get my butt to bed before 11 p.m. And if I'm not getting tired before that, I'll take 0.3 micrograms, okay? of melatonin in order to get to sleep. And then I'll wake up right as the sun is coming up. Typically for us, I think it's around 6 or 7 a.m. And that for me will be a great day. Now, if I'm not going to sleep by 11 p.m., I'll typically stay up until 1 or 2 a.m. and then I'll sleep in till 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. That's just, part of how I like to particularly do it. That's how I've found my body gets the best rest and reset. What I found too is that when I typically go to bed before that 11 p.m. Marker and I wake up early, I tend to have a lot more motivation, energy, and just time to do self-care exercises and things I like to do, which is going to be a big part of the next things here. So as I said, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. The other thing is you want to try and the reason why you want to try and get to bed before 11 p.m. and why I rarely go to bed around, if I'm like 11:30 or 12 and I have to wait till 1 or 2 a.m. It's been shown your body actually starts to stimulate cortisol if you stay up after 11 p.m. because you're basically signaling to your body, especially if you're watching TV with blue light and things like that, you're signaling to your body that you want to stay up. You're not ready to go to sleep yet. And so it gives you a little bit of a boost of cortisol to stay up for a few more hours, and then you'll get a second wave of tiredness. Sometime for me, it's around 1 or 2 a.m., and then you can ride that wave, right? So it just depends on, what your habits, what your lifestyle is. But let's say you have work and you have to be up early, or for whatever reason you just prefer to go to sleep earlier, that 0.3 micrograms, that's just 0.300, right, of 0.3 of 1 milligram, by the way. So micrograms, mcgs. So most people take way too much melatonin. You can take more, right? But you always want to do with these things the minimum effective dose. So if 0.3 is not doing anything for you, you can go a little higher. But the point is you want to start to wean off of that as well before you go, before, you don't want to be consistently taking, say, like 5 milligrams of melatonin every single night. The reason is your body naturally produces this stuff, right? So you want your bodies to start to produce it. And the reason I recommend taking it is because it can actually help to stimulate your body knowing when to create its own natural form of melatonin. If you take it a couple times, right? You can start to say, hey, body, I want you to create melatonin at this time, not at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., but I want you to create it at 10:30 so we can get up early and do our thing. You kind of give your body that stimulus, and then you let your body take over from there. And then you use it as a reset. So when you want to reset your body's signal to get to bed around a certain time, you can give it that melatonin once again, and that will really help as well. And it's also going to give you a lot deeper sleep, because the other part of this is what I forgot to mention is if you go to sleep before 11 p.m. and you're saying going to bed around 10:30, or when you first naturally start to get tired. For some of you guys, it's going to be a little earlier. For some of you guys, it's going to be a little later, because we're all built differently. And that's also a common myth, that we're all built the same. If you go to sleep in that alignment of when you first naturally get tired, you will get deeper sleep. It's been shown you will get deeper levels of sleep because you're not pumping out more cortisol before you go to sleep. So you're going to get a deeper level of sleep. You're going to get higher levels of deep and REM sleep, which is the restorative types of sleep. REM is especially important for the brain, for memory, for mental acuity. Okay. Shown, right? If you get more of this to prevent things like Alzheimer's disease. So really important, okay, to continue to get that deep sleep. So melatonin can be a big life changer. I know it's been for me for sure. Next thing is breath work. Okay, so we've gone over intermittent fasting, melatonin, and next one is breath work. So breath work is probably one of the most powerful. I mean, these are all extremely powerful. They've all changed my life in some way. But the next one is breath work. Breath work is probably the most transformative thing you can do for your nervous system, I would say. And what happens is, you can do it one of two ways. You can either do rapid fire, right, and belly breathing, where you're pumping a bunch of oxygen into your body all at the same time. It's kind of similar to the Wim Hof method. I like to do a double breath in and then a half breath out. Doing that for even 30 seconds or a minute. Then I can feel it, right? You're pumping a bunch of oxygen in, and what happens is your cells need oxygen to create energy. And it also creates an anti-inflammatory effect as well, because your cells are starting to work better and pump themselves into full gear. It's kind of like a boost or a stimulation for your body to help clear out also inflammation, emotional stress as well. And then through the clearing out of inflammation and the production of more energy and more vital raw material, right, for your cells to do what they need to do, you're also basically able to improve the immune system, because the immune system works a lot better when that stress is out and when inflammation is down as well. The other benefit, right, just kind of anecdotally or, spiritually, is like it really does reset your mind, body, heart, and soul to a degree where you are able to see things more clearly. So you're basically letting go, you're feeling, right, all of the emotions kind of drain off of you as you're doing this deep breathing, and you're working and focusing on staying present. And once all of these deep emotions that you may have been feeling or absorbing throughout the day run off of you, it's almost like you can see your life in a whole new lens, and it becomes a lot more clear and easier to operate at that point in time. So very good for stress, very good for energy, good for sleep as well, I would say, and good for also improving the immune system, because your body, again, just works better with a regular injection of oxygen that you can do at any time to help with stress, energy, and also immunity as well, and also emotional wellness, mental and emotional wellness. That's one of the biggest things I can say here. Minerals. Okay, so minerals and hydration are the last two, by the way, but we'll start with minerals because they kind of go hand in hand. But when I say minerals, I'm talking about specifically like a supplement that's going to help with minerals in the body. You can think of the cells as a little battery. So every cell has a positive and a negative polarity to it, just like masculine and feminine energies, yin and yang. And this battery needs water around it, okay, to surround it and to infuse it in order for the charge to be conducted, because this water is conductive, right? So it actually helps promote or helps the cell have its battery charge fully at its greatest voltage. Okay, and there's lots of books, lots of material on this, right? You can see how the cellular energy system works. Not going to talk about that here, but intuitively, right? It makes sense that the body would need a lot of water, but also a lot of minerals to help that charge, to help that electricity be conducted throughout the cells. And the higher the voltage, basically, the easier the cells can create energy, the easier the cells can function normally as they would, and also work to kill off and fight off things that aren't supposed to be in there. So hydration is extremely important for the body. We're 70+% water, all of us. But if we don't have the minerals to make that water electrified or conductive, basically that water just goes in and goes out, and can also contribute to excess inflammation as well. One thing I use personally, and I'm affiliate for this brand because I do truly use it, I do truly enjoy it, is Shilajit. Shilajit is basically, it has something called fulvic and humic acid, and then it's got like, I think 84 plus different minerals. It comes from the Himalayan mountains. It's like tar on the Himalayan mountains that you either dissolve in water, you can put under your tongue. That's what I do. Basically, it just optimizes your cell's ability to create energy, have better hormonal production, because hormones also depend on different minerals being in your cells. Mental acuity and neurotransmitter production, I've definitely felt a boost with that, and dopamine production to stay motivated. All around, it's just a super supplement, a superfood that's entirely natural. I'll put a link in the description box below for the brand that I use if you guys want to purchase some. No pressure, obviously, but that's a game changer, right? Because then you can be confident that when you drink water, and we'll get to water as the last one here, you're going to have the minerals in your body. And even when you eat food, right, you're going to have the minerals in your body to be able to use that food, use that matter, those nutrients in the best way, because you have those minerals. And the last one here is water. Okay. So water is, I said breathwork is probably the most important. Well, water is the king of that, right? Or the queen, I would say, of that. Water is so important to have it's so important to have a pure, unadulterated, untoxified source of clean water that you're putting into your body. If you think of your body like a waterway system, okay, I want you guys to think of your body like a waterway system, like a bunch of rivers or canals trying to go and meet their destination in the ocean. That's basically what your body is, right? It's full of canals and different pathways of energy and water trying to reach its destinations, like the ocean. Now, some places in the world, such as parts of India, and there's other parts in the world as well. Sorry, India. I've seen a recent documentary on that. Fortunately, there's a lot of trash, right, going into the waterway. And if you look at the water trying to flow, it actually gets clogged up, and it gets blocked up, and the water can't flow. and it starts to actually create this weird sort of sludgy, toxic material that then builds up in the waterways itself that then they can't get rid of, or they have to go in and manually clean it out. The same is actually true as a metaphor in your body. When you put toxic chemicalized water with different types of ingredients or poison in it, your body is not just able to take that in and use it right away. It actually has to filter this water, and your body will then constantly have to detoxify those poisons or those ingredients you're drinking in the water, and thus feel those effects. So it's almost like you're getting a delayed poisoned after reaction of drinking, say, most tap waters in the world, because of they put these chemicals in it, right? One example, just as a tiny example, but there's many other chemicals. You can look up the chemicals in your water supply, and there's all sorts of crazy stuff. One of them is chlorine, another one is fluoride, all these different types of toxic chemicals. And again, when you drink it, your body has to then remove it, filter out the water from the chemical, and then you have to process that chemical, and you get sick in the meantime. So as you drink, you get more sick, and it's just a big problem. So anyways, I recommend, quite simply, a purification water system. Number one, you can use reverse osmosis, and then you're going to remineralize the water afterwards. We'll talk about that in a second. Or you get an actual, professional water machine. I use a system called Pristine Hydro. I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. If they're still around, I can put a link to them in the description. But we literally hook up our hose to this portable Pristine Hydro machine, and we create all our own water. We don't use any tap water. Here in Arizona, unfortunately, you can smell the chemicals coming from the tap water. It's really bad. And so we don't want to drink that stuff. And even showering, we noticed, right? Without any water filters on our shower, my hair immediately started getting thinner, and Paula was experiencing weird rashes on her face, my girlfriend. So anyways, it's just not good news. So get yourself a water filter for the shower, get yourself a professional water system, or just a reverse osmosis system, or just purchase natural spring water in glass, preferably from the store. And then you're going to want to go on Amazon and get a remineralizer. It's just a bottle of minerals that you can drop into your water and remineralize the water. So what it does is you reverse osmosis, you clear out all chemicals from the water, so you just have pure, well, I call it dead water because it's just nothingness. And then you put the minerals back in, and now it's sort of replicated as natural spring water, because spring water always has minerals. It's always picking up those minerals from the silt, and because that's how nature designed it. Nature designed us to be with minerals with our water, because it knows, obviously, it created us, that the cells need these minerals to have a high charge and to have high hydration levels, which helps with everything else, right? Stress, mental acuity, focus, energy, inflammation, you name it. So those are my top 5 health hacks to stay healthy and to be healthy in 2023 and beyond. I guess my closing message is this. If there's anything to, do or question after this, just if anything sounds interesting to you, just try one of them. And if you're going through problems, right, if you're dealing with inflammation or pain or energy or anything that has been caused by a doctor or caused by a surgery or caused by something that was unfair to you from the medical system or the way we're eating or the way we're drinking, even one of these will tremendously change the quality of your life. I can't stress that enough, and help you to get back to you, help you to be and feel more like the authentic version of you. And that is the key. And that's why I say, and everyone says, they say, right, that health is the key to your wealth. It's the key to your life. If you don't have health, you don't have anything else. And so if anything else, let one of these be the spark or stimulus you need to start to investigate and to start to learn more about how you can change your health, change your life, and change your energy for 2023 and beyond. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, be sure to leave a like on this video. It really helps the channel to grow and to find the right people. Hit that subscribe button to join us on our mission to more health, wealth, and love in our life. And please be sure to leave your comments and your feedback in the comment section below. I love you all. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.